Hello, welcome to Madhatter Couture for New York Gold Tours. This is the 8th and final video of the hat making in progress. So I will begin the painting, and then afterwards there will be an auction once it's finally finished. I won't finish the whole painting while I'm videotaping, but after the painting is finished, the hat will be complete, and it'll be in its third and final auction on eBay. So I hope you enjoy, and good luck. If you remember, this hat is to honor the founding of America and Christopher Columbus's voyage and the Native Americans, and the first sight of land that was sighted at 2 a.m. in the morning. So if you could imagine the moonlight on the water, the highlight of the silhouette of the land, and that gleaming, glistening vision of their goals coming into fruition, that part of it, then you can imagine what the hat will look like when it's finished. But so I'm going to start, and you'll be able to see the finished product in pictures, which I'll post on the eBay auction and on my website, New York Gold Tours. So I'm first going to just sketch out a little bit of the painting. I think I'll have the moonlight here, the actual moon here. And I think I'll have that pretty prominent. I'm also deciding if I'm going to use sizing on the hat or not. I haven't used any. I have millinery sizing that I am afraid to use because I'm super conservative about using chemicals now. I was injured in a work injury many years ago that involved lifting and toxic spray, and so I don't want to subject anyone to chemicals if I can avoid it. And usually you'd spray the inside of the hat, but I don't want to do that. It's such a nice felt right now, and so I don't want to do that. But if I don't, then the shape might not hold up so well. So I'm thinking that the beauty of the hat might take on the beauty of how it's worn. So if the wearer puts it on like this and takes it off like this, using the front almost like a handle, that will preserve the shape. So I'm thinking that might solve that. And then the other option is I could put the sizing on the outside, but it ruins the look of the felt, so, and the feel of it and everything. So I don't want to do that either. And then I have gelatin sizing. I do have gelatin that I could put on the inside, but again, then it cuts down on the the nice quality of the felt on the inside. So I'm not quite sure. I'm still deciding that as I go. But feel free to leave me feedback on my website if you have an opinion. So I'm going to go by the sketch a little bit too, changing the mountain behind that leads behind the moon. No, I don't want to do that because I want to show that the moon is, that they were already in the moonlight and now they can finally see land. So I'll have the moon, the mountains start below the moon, and I'll have two mountains, one in front of the other, like I did in the sketch. I think I'll have it pyramid up a little bit. into the center, which is always a nice design line. And I'll have it cascade down and fade off into the black. And then this will all be water. This will be sky. I think I'll have, instead of how I did it on the sketch and the sky goes above the moonlight, I'm going to have the moonlight as the most prominent. And then this will be water. It will come up and leave some nice felt showing there, so it won't be all over the brim. This will be the water line here, and the brim edge will remain unpainted, preserve its integrity there, and it'll fade into the black. And this way here. Okay. And this will not go as far back as on the other side. It'll just go to there, so that it's nice, clean, just black felt all the way down on the left and on the right of the painting. Okay, I think I've got the outline done. If you can see that. And I'm going to start the painting. I'm a little bit nervous because there's no going back with this. So, let's see. I want the moon to be really illuminating, but I also wanted it to be, well, no, I'm not going to paint the sky behind. Okay, so I'm going to start it with just bits. I have painted on hats before. I actually tested the market for it in 2004 and did pretty well. I even made newsboy caps and painted on some newsboy caps. Very abstract modern art kind of painting. It was fun to do, and it was received well, like I said. And so I'm hoping this will be received well too. I haven't seen anything like it in all of my years. We don't need to announce that I'm old. I'm sure it shows. But like I was saying before on my other video on 7 about the skills being handed down, my father was very artistic. He was also very skilled. Tailor, had a tailor shop that he relied on later in life. He didn't live to a very old age, but later in his life, when my parents met, they were both in Fashion Industries High School here in New York, in the city, and he had learned how to sew from his mother. My grandmother used to make hats and lampshades, actually, and she taught him how to sew. She said he was just always very studious and always trying to help out instead of playing outside like all his other brothers and sisters, and he was more interested in helping her, to do the sewing. And so he learned that, and then my brother and I learned to sew almost in the same way, in that they needed us to help out with the work. My parents didn't stay together, but when they were together, my father was an industrial engineer, which he was black, and so for a black man, that's a very high accomplishment. It's a good accomplishment for anyone. But he was an industrial engineer in fashion industry, quality control, here in the New York garment industry. And he had gone to FIT, and, he was the first in his family to go to college and all that. worked hard. Uh, anyhow, he had a partner who did not pay the taxes, and my father was not the one responsible for the financial. So he left it to his partner, who was a very good friend, who he trusted completely. But, who knows really who he was when they met? There's a lot of things done in this world, and people are sent up to people, and you really don't know who you're getting involved with sometimes. So I wouldn't take on a partner. I just wouldn't. But anyhow, my father had to go, and he paid the price for the non-taxes, not the partner who didn't do them. So anyway, so he lost that business, and my mother they just didn't stay together, and my mother was a sort of a struggling fashion designer my years growing up, but she was like in the Soho design movement of the 70s, and she brought me to work with her over the summer, and she was doing seamstress work, and I would play. The designer there had a daughter my age, and so we would play and together. And anyway, but I started draping with the fabrics for fun, and I learned that I really liked fashion. I really liked making something out of nothing. And but going back to the skills, I learned them from my my father, I guess, just by him always working on projects, you pick up these things. He was very artful, painting portraits and all sorts of things. But also then when my mother had a custom order clientele business, and so if she wasn't finished with a hem or something, or a customer was coming to pick up their order and she wasn't finished, she would have me help with sewing hems or buttons or whatever, and she started paying me to do that. And things were very tight. I mean, when I was very young, I had babysitting. My brother had a newspaper route, but sometimes if she didn't get paid, we weren't really going to have much food. So anyhow, so So I learned this skill there, and then when we were a little older and my father was settled in Kentucky, he had a tailor shop there, and he also had a pool in his apartment complex where he lived. And so we would go on during the summers and spend part of the summers with him. And if we didn't finish the work in the tailor shop with him, again with hems and stuff like that, the day would be longer. Like the earlier we finished, the quicker we could get to. We would go to an ice cream shop for shakes, and then there was an Earler's down the block, and then go to the pool. But so we had the work ethic of working first and playing later. But my father also wrote a book on quality control called Clothes Shoppers Satisfaction Guaranteed, which I still haven't had time to read. I'm getting through it. But so now I'm adding a little bit of shimmer of silver into the paint of the moon. I want to, the recesses that are sort of gray in the moon, I want to add some shimmer to that. So I have some silver and white that I'm applying here. I think my shape is pretty much done. I'm going to add a little bit of a yellow silhouette, yellow and gold silhouette to the moon around the outer edges. But I like how it's turning out. It's a good size for what I want it to do. And I don't want to move on to another section yet because I don't want it to dry like that. I want to blend the white and silver together in a way that they're not mixed, but yet they're blended. That's true. And so I'm glad I'm sharing this with the world as I'm doing this. I think it comes out in the painting, actually. I can feel the influence, and I think that's great. One thing I want to say about my hats is they are each one will have its own vibe, kind of thing, because they're not going to be your cookie cutter hat that you find, you know, where everyone is completely identical. There's going to be differences in the shape of the brim, because I chose not to wire it. I want a very light, very easy to wear and easy feeling hat to be the finished product. I think that's going to be the most contemporary design style, and so that's my goal. And so you'll notice. Oh, and I can show you now the exposed. Well, I better not while the hat is wet. Well, maybe you can see the exposed stitching on the bottom. It's all fine tailoring, top quality workmanship, and so anyway, so yes, they'll have their own vibe, and this one is started off being shared with the world, so that's kind of neat. So I guess I'm gonna end it here in the video so that you don't have to stick around, and I'm gonna finish painting this, and I hope that you're gonna like it. The quality of this video photography is not the best, so it's not really capturing the recesses of the gradations in the coloring that I just did with the silver, but in person you can see it, and I think it's looking nice. So anyway, thank you again for joining me in this venture of online hat making and seeing it in progress. Hopefully you can enjoy a hat that you can find on my website or on eBay and pay your own homage to old world manufacturing and good tradesmanship values. So, or what, you know, whatever, if you just like the hat. Okay, take care. Thanks again.